My readings in the mornings, if you've been following on the last few days on Facebook or Instagram, the account details, which you'll find below in the descriptions, you'll have noticed, as I have, that we've had a few occurrences, a few instances of the court cards coming up in the readings, whether those were the multi-card readings or the day card readings. And today makes no exception. The Princess of Wands this time from the Black Flame Tarot. In my interpretations, as I may have mentioned before, the princesses of the Black Flame and Crowley decks correspond with the queens of the other Rider-Waite-based decks. And so here we have, as we've seen, the Princess of Wands. And I'll zoom in a little bit just so you can see a bit more detail on her. The princesses or queens tend to refer, if not talking about a person of the gender depicted, of personality qualities for the questioner, which in this case means us. The queen or princess stand between the comfortable, maybe even relaxed areas illustrated typically by the fours, which I like to think of as little comfort zones, because the 4 points of 4 wands would make a nice little box that we've gotten comfortable thinking in, for instance, or comfortable acting in. So it stands between that comfort zone where we've gotten a little maybe complacent. We know what to do and we do it well, but then we don't get up and move forward. We just find ourselves staying there. And the fives, which relate to, naturally, moving out of that comfort zone. And you'll notice that not only with the Princess of Wands, but two of her other princess counterparts illustrate something similar, some more motion, an action-oriented context. And so if we look again at the princess, we'll see that she has a tiger or a tiger's fur, which we can assume she's killed off. Maybe that represents the box. Maybe that was her challenge to moving forward, was getting out of that and either killing that or subduing it and bringing it along, so that, at some point the things that she's learned from that phase will prove useful. Because, as I said, it doesn't mean that we've stopped working. It just means that we've stopped progressing. Little difference there. You'll notice also in the purple and blue sky, purple for acquired wisdom and blue for receptivity, perhaps to her own intuition or other useful influences, we see a single star lighting the sky. Now, it doesn't look like she lives in a metropolitan area where light pollution has drowned out the rest of the light. It looks more like she has become so focused on her objective that the other stars, the distractions, have gone out of sight. She doesn't even see them. They don't exist to her. Our creative abilities, we need to work on those usually with a purpose in mind. We don't just pursue them usually for the sake of pursuing them. Instead, we pursue them with an objective in mind. We want to use them somewhere more often than not. And the star, this pentagram in the sky, this illumination, or this luminary, represents that in the life of the princess, or in my life, your life. Now, if we haven't gotten out of that box, we may not have a clear view of the night sky to even see or discover our objective. It can become especially challenging to remove ourselves, to extricate ourselves from the box if we don't feel like we have a good reason. We may not have the purpose fully in mind yet, but the reason needn't get more specific right off the bat than just that we want to continue to progress and grow. Now, as I said, these other two princesses, the one of cups and of swords, respectively, demonstrate motion, demonstrate moving as well, and getting perhaps even blinded by parts of self yet unknown. But we have to remember that these court cards that stand as stepping stones don't mean we will inevitably move. Someone could stand on a stepping stone and decide not to move. And we see that illustrated in our friend, the Princess of Pentagrams, where you'll note she has actually become so comfortable in her environment that she's begun to grow into the trees. How much more difficult to get up and start moving when we've become so set in our ways. Instead, follow the example of the princess, particularly in this case, of Wands, moving forward, moving into the future, following her guiding star. Now, you may not know, as I said, what exactly your star looks like, what it means, or even, what you'll do with it. But I'll give you one hint. You don't have to look up in the sky to find it. In fact, you don't have to look any further than within yourself. So spend some time today reflecting on the Princess of Wands. She serves as a great example for what we need to do, whether we've gotten stuck or not, as we begin progressing toward something more meaningful, more fulfilling, perhaps a bit more scary and uncertain to start with, but definitely worth the effort. As I mentioned earlier, just think that wraps it up. As I've mentioned earlier, please check out the other networks that you can find me on, Facebook and Instagram. You'll see those in the description below. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and share this if you found it interesting or even useful. And please don't hesitate to leave comments. I enjoy the discussion that they promote, and in these not face-to-face settings that we conveniently find ourselves in the internet age, sometimes we don't get another option for communication and sharing. So I hope you've enjoyed, and I hope you all keep transforming. Until next time, have a fine day.